Question 1. Who can assemble, dismantle or change a tube when you are fitting scaffold? A. Someone who thinks they are able to do it. B. Some who has the right tools for the job. C. Someone who is competent and authorized. D. The project manager. Question 1. Answer: C. Someone who is competent and authorized. Question 2. Why should you not paint a ladder? A. The paint will make the surface slippy to use. B. If painted it could hide damage on the metal parts of the ladder. C. The paint may hide any damaged parts. D. It will need to be regularly repainted. Question 2. Answer: C. The paint may hide any damaged parts. Question 3. You are up on a roof that is flat. How can you best make sure you will not fall over the side of the roof? A. Use a guardrail and toe boards to protect the sides. B. You can use white and red tape to mark out the edge. C. If at the edge of the roof you put a warning sign. D. Get someone to watch you while you are up on the roof and when you get close to the edge shout. Question 3. Answer: A. Use a guardrail and toe boards to protect the sides. Question 4. You can cross over a fragile roof only if A. Use the bolts to walk along. B. You can see sign pointing out that it is a fragile roof. C. If you stay away from any and do not walk on the plastic panels. D. With the use of crawling boards. Question 4. Answer: D. With the use of crawling boards. Question 5. At the same time, how many people can use one ladder? A. 1. B. 2. C. 3 if it is long enough. D. 1 on each section of an extension ladder. Question 5. Answer: A. 1. Question 6. You go to use a ladder but you find that the ladder is damaged. What should you do? A. Use the ladder if you can avoid using the damaged parts. B. Try and mend the damaged ladder. C. Make others aware of the damage and do not use it yourself. D. Do not use it and report it at the end of your shift. Question 6. Answer: C. Make others aware of the damage and do not use it yourself. Question 7. You are about to use a ladder. At what angle should a ladder be placed? A. 40 degrees. B. 50 degrees. C. 65 degrees. D. 75 degrees. Question 7. Answer: D. 75 degrees. Question 8. You want to stop stacked materials from going over the toe boards. How can you best achieve this? A. Fit brick guards. B. Attach a large warning sign to the material stack. C. Construct the materials in such a way that it will lean away from the edge. D. By covering the stack of material with a net. Question 8. Answer: A. Fit brick guards. Question 9. Some materials need to be lifted to a platform and a guardrail needs to be removed. You are not a scaffolder. Can you remove the rail? A. Yes, if you put it back as soon as the material has been landed. B. No, only a scaffolder can remove the guardrail but you can put it back. C. No, only a scaffolder can remove and replace the guardrail. D. Yes, if you put it back at the end of your shift. Question 9. Answer: C. No, only a scaffolder can remove and replace the guardrail. Question 10. Before a ladder is used, who should check it? A. The person who is going to use it. B. The manufacturer. C. A supervisor. D. The site safety officer. Question 10. Answer: A. The person who is going to use it. Question 11. You want to make sure the ladder you are about to use will be secure and will not have the chance of slipping. How can you do this? A. Wedge the bottom of the ladder with blocks of wood. B. You should tie the ladder at the bottom. C. You can ask if someone will be able to stand with their feet at the bottom. D. Tie it at the top. Question 11. Answer: D. Tie it at the top. Question 12. You are working above water and there is a risk of falling. Which two items of PPE do you need? A. Wellington boots. B. Waterproof jacket. C. Harness and lanyard. D. Life jacket. E. Waterproof trousers. Question 12. Answer: C. Harness and lanyard. D. Life jacket. Question 13. Which statement is true if you want to use a ladder to be able to get access to a scaffolding platform? A. Two people must be on the ladder at all times. B. All of the broken rungs must be clearly marked and visible to others. C. You must wedge the ladder from the bottom so the ladder will not slip. D. It must be tied and extend about 5 rungs above the platform. Question 13. Answer: D. It must be tied and extend about 5 rungs above the platform. Question 14. Objects can easily fall from a scaffolding platform. How can you best protect the people below? A. Tell the people below to stop work and clear the area. B. Use brick guards to stop anything falling below. C. Make sure they are wearing safety helmets. D. Tell them you will be working above. Question 14. Answer: B. Use brick guards to stop anything falling below. Question 15. In what circumstance will you be able to use a ladder as a place of work? A. Only if you will be doing light work for a short period. B. If you can find a ladder to use. C. If it is long enough. D. If other people do not need to use it for access. Question 15. Answer: A. Only if you will be doing light work for a short period. Question 1. Which of the following should be classed as hazardous waste? A. Fluorescent light tubes. B. Broken ceramic tiles or bricks. C. Glass. D. Polythene and shrink wrap. Question 1. Answer: A. Fluorescent light tubes. Question 2. There has been a spillage of hydraulic oil from plant working near a watercourse. What one action should you not do? A. Notify the site manager. B. Switch the plant off. C. Contain the spillage. D. Use detergents to clean up the oil. Question 2. Answer: D. Use detergents to clean up the oil. Question 3. Which two actions could help minimize waste? Select 2 answers. A. Leave bags of cement and plaster out in the rain unprotected. B. Reuse of cuts as far as possible rather than discarding them. C. Use new material packs at the beginning of each day. D. Only take or open what you need and return or reseal anything left over. E. Always take much more than required just in case you need it. Question 3. Answer: B. Reuse of cuts as far as possible rather than discarding them. D. Only take or open what you need and return or reseal anything left over. Question 4. The high levels of solvents in some paints and resins can cause A. Lung problems. B. Headaches, dizziness and sickness. C. Effects on other parts of your body. D. All of the above. Question 4. Answer: D. All of the above. Question 5. When drilling, cutting, sanding or grinding, what is the best way to protect your long-term health from harmful dust? A. Wear FFP3 rated dust mask and impact goggles. B. Wear any disposable dust mask, hearing protection and impact goggles. C. Use dust extraction or wet cut and wear light eye protection. D. Use dust extraction or wet cut. Wear FFP3 rated dust mask, hearing protection and impact goggles. Question 5 answer, D. Use dust extraction or wet cut. Wear FFP3 rated dust mask, hearing protection and impact goggles. Question 6. You have been given a dust mask to protect you against hazardous fumes. What should you do? A. Start work but take a break now and again. B. Do not start work until you have the correct respiratory proactive equipment, RPE. C. Do the job but work quickly. D. Wear a second dust mask on top of the first. Question 6 answer, B. Do not start work until you have the correct respiratory proactive equipment, RPE. Question 7. You have finished your work and need to sweep up the dust created. What should you do? A. Make sure there is plenty of ventilation. B. Dampen down the area. C. Put your protective mask back on. D. All of the above. Question 7 answer, D. All of the above. Question 8. Which of the following do you need to do to ensure that your mask works? A. Check it's the correct type needed. B. Check you are wearing it correctly. C. Pass a face fit test wearing the mask. D. All of the above. Question 8 answer, D. All of the above. Question 9. You are using water as part of dust control and run out. What should you do? A. Carry on as you have nearly finished. B. Stop and refill with water. C. Carry on but get someone to sweep up afterwards. D. Ask everyone to clean the area and then carry on. Question 9 answer, B. Stop and refill with water. Question 10. Which of these activities does not create silica dust, which is harmful if breathed in? A. Break up concrete floors and screeds. B. Sawing timber and plywood. C. Chasing out walls and mortar joints or sweeping up rubble. D. Cutting curbs, stone, paving slabs, bricks and blocks. Question 10 answer, B. Sawing timber and plywood. Question 11. There are many kinds of dust and fumes at work. Breathing them in over time can cause you to develop A. Skin cancer. B. Occupational dermatitis. C. Sore throat. D. Occupational lung disease. Question 11 answer, D. Occupational lung disease. Question 1. Using eye protection is vital for on-site safety. When should you wear eye protection? A. Only when you're working with power tools. B. Only when you're working with hazardous chemicals. C. When the task has a potential for eye injury and if the site rules demand it. D. Only when your eyes come into direct sunlight. Question 1 answer, C. When the task has a potential for eye injury and if the site rules demand it. Question 2. Protective midsoles in your safety footwear are designed to A. Prevent you from twisting your ankle. B. Prevent chemical burns if you step on hazardous chemicals. C. Ensure your footwear remains comfortable throughout the day. D. Protect your feet from nails and other sharp objects. Question 2 answer, D. Protect your feet from nails and other sharp objects. Question 3. What should you do if you're given a task that requires you to wear a full-body harness but you've never used one before? A. Carry on and try to work it out yourself. B. Ask a colleague who wears one for advice. C. Ask for an expert to train you. D. Ask for the instruction manual and figure it out yourself. Question 3 answer, C. Ask for an expert to train you. Question 4. Wearing a safety helmet in hot weather can be uncomfortable. Which of these is true about wearing a safety helmet in hot weather? A. You can drill small holes in your helmet to increase airflow and keep you cool. B. You can take it off for short periods of time while you're working. C. You must keep it on at all times and ensure you're wearing it correctly. D. You can wear it sideways if it's more comfortable this way. Question 4. Answer C. You must keep it on at all times and ensure you're wearing it correctly. Question 5. What should you do if you accidentally drop your safety helmet and crack it? A. Get another one immediately. B. Wait until you break and get another one. C. Carry on working if it's only a small crack. D. Wait until the end of your shift and get another one for the next day. Question 5. Answer A. Get another one immediately. Question 6. If your job role requires specific type of PPE, will you need to pay for this? A. Yes, you'll need to pay a percentage of the total cost. B. No, your employer must provide all PPE necessary to carry out a job. C. Yes, everyone is responsible for providing their own PPE. D. Maybe, you might need to pay as PPE is provided at your employer's discretion. Question 6. Answer B. No, your employer must provide all PPE necessary to carry out a job. Question 7. What should you do if your safety footwear gets damaged while working? A. Try to fix it and carry on working. B. Throw it away and use your trainers. C. Keep using it until your next break and then replace it. D. Get a replacement immediately. Question 7. Answer D. Get a replacement immediately. Question 8. All of these statements are true about PPE except A. PPE must be worn in accordance with the instructions. B. You are responsible for providing your own PPE if the ones you're given is lost. C. Any damage to your PPE must be reported to your supervisor. D. You must ensure your PPE is stored correctly when you're not using it. Question 8. Answer B. You are responsible for providing your own PPE if the ones you're given is lost. Question 9. What should you do if the disposable earplugs you're given keeps falling out of your ears? A. Throw them away, continue working and get another pair at your next break. B. Take them out and continue working. C. Stop working until you get a pair that fits correctly. D. Secure it with some rolled-up paper. Question 9. Answer C. Stop working until you get a pair that fits correctly. Question 10. It's important for you to wear the correct type of gloves when dealing with hazardous substances. If you don't, then you're likely to succumb to A. Arthritis. B. Vibration white finger. C. Raynaud's syndrome. D. Skin disease. Question 10. Answer D. Skin disease. Question 1. Over time, excess noise can damage your ability to hear. Can such a condition be reversed? A. Yes, but you will be forced to change your current job. B. With time, the condition may repair itself. C. The damage is permanent and cannot be reversed. D. You will need surgery to repair your hearing loss. Question 1. Answer C. The damage is permanent and cannot be reversed. Question 2. You have just finished working with a particularly noisy piece of equipment and you have a ringing in your ears. What does this symptom imply? A. Your body has been exposed to excess vibration. B. You may be coming down with the flu or respiratory infection. C. The level of noise was high, but it was still safe. D. You've temporarily damaged your hearing. Question 2. Answer D. You've temporarily damaged your hearing. Question 3. Over time, excess noise can damage your hearing. Which of these is an early sign of this? A. Infections of the inner ear. B. There are no early signs. C. A rash may appear around the outside of your ear. D. A ringing sound or even a temporary hearing loss may occur. Question 3. Answer. D. A ringing sound or even a temporary hearing loss may occur. Question 4. Give 2 separate answers as to how excess noise can affect your health. A. Loss of hearing. B. Constant ear infections. C. An excess buildup of wax in your ears. D. Persistent headaches. E. A condition known as vibration white finger. Question 4. Answers. A. Loss of hearing. D. Persistent headaches. Question 5. You believe that excess noise at the job site has damaged your hearing. What do you need to do? A. Take a few sick days and rest. B. Have your doctor or employer arrange a hearing test for you. C. Place cotton wads in your ears to prevent any future damage. D. There is nothing that you can do. The damage is permanent and cannot be undone. Question 5. Answer. B. Have your doctor or employer arrange a hearing test for you. Question 6. You find yourself on the job site next to a coworker who is using a loud piece of machinery. You are wearing no hearing protection. What do you need to do? A. Immediately stop and speak with the supervisor of your coworker. B. Continue working, as the job site will always be noisy. C. Tell the worker to stop what they are doing. D. Leave the area until you have secured the correct personal protective equipment, PPE. Question 6. Answer. D. Leave the area until you have secured the correct personal protective equipment, PPE. Question 7. It is a general rule that noise levels may be excessive if you must shout to speak to someone. How far away? A. 6 meters. B. 4 meters. C. 5 meters. D. 2 meters. Question 7. Answer. D. 2 meters. Question 8. Your job requires you to wear ear defenders while on site. However, one of the pads is missing. What should you do? A. Use a piece of cloth and wrap it around the shell while continuing to work. B. Wear them as they are and continue working. C. Do not wear them. Work without hearing protection. D. Wait until the pad is replaced before entering into a noisy area. Question 8. Answer. D. Wait until the pad is replaced before entering into a noisy area. Question 9. When working in a hearing protection zone, you must A. Use hearing protection when the noises are too loud to stand. B. Be careful not to make excess noise. C. Wear the appropriate hearing protection at all times. D. Have adequate hearing protection in case you need it. Question 9. Answer. C. Wear the appropriate hearing protection at all times. Question 10. By wearing hearing protection you will A. Eliminate all possibilities of being exposed to excess noise levels. B. Reduce the amount of noise you're exposed to. C. Improve your hearing. D. Reverse any previous hearing problems. Question 10. Answer. B. Reduce the amount of noise you're exposed to. The health and safety sign below is used to indicate A. Fire hose location. B. Fire assembly location. C. Fire extinguisher location. D. Fire alarm point. Question 1. Answer. D. Fire alarm point. Question 2. What should you do if you discover a child wandering around on a construction site? A. Escort the child to safety immediately. B. Just ignore it as it's not your problem. C. Find your supervisor and report it. D. Find your site manager and report it. Question 2. Answer. A. Escort the child to safety immediately. Question 3. What does the health and safety sign below mean? A. Dangerous to the environment. B. Hot liquid. C. Corrosive. D. Irritant. Question 3. Answer C. Corrosive. Question 4. What does the health and safety sign below mean? A. Dangerous to the environment. B. No fishing in this area. C. Do not dump refuse here. D. Protected wildlife area. Question 4. Answer A. Dangerous to the environment. Question 5. If high visibility clothing is needed to carry out your work, who should provide this? A. Your employer needs to provide it, then have the cost deducted from your wages. B. Your local job center will provide this. C. Your employer needs to provide this. D. You need to buy your own. Question 5. Answer C. Your employer needs to provide this. Question 6. To help prevent injuries caused by manual handling, you should do all the following except A. Learn proper lifting and carrying techniques. B. Use lifting equipment. C. Disperse your items into smaller loads. D. Carry as much items as possible to get the task completed faster. Question 6. Answer D. Carry as much items as possible to get the task completed faster. Question 7. Class B fires are fires involving all of the following except. Choose 2 answers. A. Kerosene. B. Propane. C. Gasoline. D. Cooking oil. Question 7. Answer B. Propane. D. Cooking oil. Question 8. Which class of fire does magnesium and aluminium materials fall under? A. Class D. B. Class B. C. Class A. D. Class F. Question 8. Answer A. Class D. Question 9. Which of these 2 types of fire extinguishers are most suitable for use on electrical fires? Choose 2 answers. A. Water. B. Foam. C. Wet chemical. D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 9. Answer D. CO2. E. Dry powder. Question 10. In the event of a fire, you should do all the following except A. Exit the building immediately using the nearest lift. B. Call the fire brigade. C. Operate the nearest fire alarm. D. To call the fire if safe and trained to do so. Question 10. Answer A. Exit the building immediately using the nearest lift.
Question 1. What is the primary reason that employees must report any and all accidents that occur on the job site? A. Insurance reasons dictate that all incidents be reported. B. Accountability needs to be firmly established. C. Only major accidents need to be reported. D. Employers and employees can learn from the incident. Correct answer is D. Employers and employees can learn from the incident. Question 2. Equipment that has been issued a prohibition notice must be A. Operated by approved personnel. B. Operated by senior staff only. C. Cease to be operated until checked for safety. D. Discarded immediately. Correct answer is C. Cease to be operated until checked for safety. Question 3. It's important for you to wear the correct type of gloves when dealing with hazardous substances. If you don't, then you're like to succumb to A. Arthritis. B. Vibration white finger. C. Raynaud syndrome. D. Skin disease. Correct answer is D. Skin disease. Question 4. If your job role requires specific type of PPE, would you need to pay for this? A. Yes, you'll need to pay a percentage of the total cost. B. No, Your employer must provide all PPE necessary to carry out a job. C. Yes, everyone is responsible for providing their own PPE. D. Maybe, you might need to pay as PPE is provided at your employer's discretion. Correct answer is B. No, your employer must provide all PPE necessary to carry out a job. Question 5. What should you do if you're given a task that requires you to wear a full body harness but you've never used one before? A. Carry on and try to work it out yourself. B. Ask a colleague who wears one for advice. C. Ask for an expert to train you. D. Ask for the instruction manual and figure it out yourself. Correct answer is C. Ask for an expert to train you. Question 6. Which of these best describes a toolbox talk? A. It's a detailed guide on how to store your tools safely. B. It's a short discussion on a specific health and safety topic. C. It's a guide that outlines the tools approved for use on site. D. It's a guide that explains the benefits of choosing the right tools for a job. Correct answer is B. It's a short discussion on a specific health and safety topic. Question 7. What purpose does a steel toe serve in a work boot? A. Increased traction when working from heights. B. Increased comfort. C. The steel will keep the foot more aerated than a normal boot. D. Protection against falling debris from above. Correct answer is D. Protection against falling debris from above. Question 8. Equipment being used has recently been served a prohibition notice? If you are using this equipment, what should you do? A. If the device seems to be working properly, continue to use it. B. Nothing, the notice is only for a specific employee. C. Cease using the device until it has passed a safety inspection. D. Report the notice to your supervisor at the end of your shift. Correct answer is C. Cease using the device until it has passed a safety inspection.
Question 1. Site inductions should be attended by A. Supervisors only. B. Everyone who will be on site. C. Managers only. D. Short-term visitors only. Question 1 answer B. Everyone who will be on site. Question 2. Being exposed to engine oil can cause A. Hearing problems. B. Skin problems. C. Lung cancer. D. Temporary loss of breath. Question 2 answer B. Skin problems. Question 3. Which of these are common causes of accidents on a construction work site? A. Slips, trips and falls. B. Falling from height. C. Inhaling hazardous substances. D. All of the above. Question 3 answer D. All of the above. Question 4. For maximum safety, disposable masks should be discarded after A. 6 days. B. 2 weeks. C. 1 day or 1 shift. D. 3 days. Question 4 answer C. 1 day or 1 shift. Question 5. Besides hearing loss, what can excessive noise cause? A. Headaches. B. Temporary blindness. C. Skin disease. D. Heart disease. Question 5 answer A. Headaches. Question 6. What does this sign mean? A. Danger fragile roof. B. Caution tripping hazards on roof. C. No entry roof unsafe. D. Danger roof incomplete. Question 6 answer A. Danger fragile roof. Question 7. What does this sign mean? A. Eye protection recommended. B. Opaque eye protection must be worn. C. Eye protection not needed beyond this point. D. Eye protection must be worn. Question 7. Answer D. Eye protection must be worn. Question 8. What does this sign mean? A. Hand washing area. B. Protective gloves must be worn. C. Protective gloves recommended. D. Use barrier cream. Question 8. Answer B. Protective gloves must be worn. Question 1. A permit to work allows A. Untrained people to work without supervision. B. Health and safety executive inspectors to visit the site. C. The emergency services to come onto the site after an accident. D. Certain jobs to be carried out under controlled conditions. Question 1. Answer D. Certain jobs to be carried out under controlled conditions. Question 2. You are about to start a job. How will you know if it needs a permit to work? A. You do not need to know. Permits to work only affect managers. B. The health and safety executive will tell you. C. You will be given a permit to work at the site induction. D. You will not be allowed to start work until the permit to work has been issued. Question 2. Answer D. You will not be allowed to start work until the permit to work has been issued. Question 3. Which type of accident kills most construction workers? A. Contact with electricity. B. Being run over by site transport. C. Falling from a height. D. Being hit by a falling object. Question 3. Answer C. Falling from a height. Question 4. You can help prevent accidents by A. Becoming a first aider. B. Reporting unsafe working conditions. C. Knowing how to get help quickly. D. Know where the first aid is kept. Question 4. Answer B. Reporting unsafe working conditions. Question 5. Which of these could be confused with the early signs of Weil's disease? A. Diabetes. B. Influenza. C. Dermatitis. D. Hay fever. Question 5. Answer B. Influenza. Question 6. You find pigeon droppings and a nest in the area where you are about to start work. What should you do? A. Let them fly away before carrying on with your work. B. Seek advice from someone and stop working. C. Try to catch the pigeons. D. Carry on with your work carefully. Question 6. Answer B. Seek advice from someone and stop working. Question 7. There are many kinds of dust at work. Breathing them for a long time can cause A. Glue ear. B. Skin cancer. C. Occupational asthma. D. Occupational dermatitis. Question 7. Answer C. Occupational asthma. Question 8. You need to move a load that is heavier on one side than the other. How should you pick this up? A. With the heavy side on your strong arm. B. With the heavy side towards you. C. With the heavy side away from you. D. With the heavy side on your weak arm. Question 8. Answer B. With the heavy side towards you. Question 9. You need to move a load that might be too heavy for you. What should you do? A. Get someone to help you. B. Use an aid, such as a trolley or wheelbarrow. C. Divide the load into smaller loads if possible. D. All of the above. Question 9. Answer D. All of the above. Question 10. You have been shown how you should be lifting a heavy load. After some thought you think you have a better way. How should you proceed? A. Forget your idea and do it the way you have been told. B. Ask your workmates to decide which way you should do it. C. Ignore what you have been told and do it your way. D. Discuss your idea with your supervisor. Question 10. Answer D. Discuss your idea with your supervisor. Question 11. When you climb a ladder, you must A. Have 2 points of contact with the ladder at all times. B. Have 2 people on the ladder at all times. C. Have 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. D. Use a safety harness. Question 11. Answer C. Have 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. Question 12. Tools and materials can easily fall from a scaffold platform. What is the best way to protect the people below? A. Tell them you will be working above. B. Make sure they are wearing safety helmets. C. Tell the people below to stop work and clear the area. D. Use brick guards to stop any items falling below. Question 12. Answer D. Use brick guards to stop any items falling below. Question 13. You have been given disposable earplugs to use, but they keep falling out. What should you do? A. Stop work until you get more suitable one and are shown how to fit them. B. Put rolled up tissue in each ear. C. Throw them away and work without them. D. Put 2 earplugs in each ear so they stay in place. Question 13. Answer A. Stop work until you get more suitable one and are shown how to fit them. Question 14. You need to wear a full body harness. You have never used one before. What should you do? A. Try to work it out for yourself. B. Read the instruction book. C. Ask someone already wearing a harness to show you what to do. D. Ask for expert advice and training. Question 14. Answer D. Ask for expert advice and training. Question 15. If you want to be a first aider, you should A. Buy a book on first aid and start treating people. B. Watch a first aider treating people, then try it yourself. C. Ask if you can do a first aider's course. D. Speak to your doctor about it. Question 15. Answer C. Ask if you can do a first aider's course. Question 16. If someone falls and is knocked unconscious, what should you do? A. Give them mouth-to-mouth resuscitations. B. Slap their face to wake them up. C. Turn them over so they are lying on their back. D. Send for medical help. Question 16. Answer D. Send for medical help. Question 1. How many employees does a company need before risk assessments are recorded? A. Between 5-10. B. Between 10-20. C. 5 or more. D. Just 1 is needed. Question 1. Answer C. 5 or more. Question 2. Which of these best describes a hazard? A. Something that is potentially harmful. B. Tools lying around on the floor. C. Cables lying around on the floor. D. Unlabeled chemicals. Question 2. Answer A. Something that is potentially harmful. Question 3. What is the cause of most accidents? A. Poisoning. B. Slips, trips and falls. C. Electrocution. D. Suffocation. Question 3. Answer B. Slips, trips and falls. Question 4. In which year was the Health and Safety at Work Act enacted? A. 1947. B. 1974. C. 1957. D. 1975. Question 4. Answer B. 1974. Question 5. Where would you go if your fire alarm was activated? A. Your manager's office. B. The fire assembly point. C. Go to your car and wait. D. Exit the building and go home. Question 5 answer, B. The fire assembly point. Question 6. What chemical fire extinguishers are identified by which color? A. Red. B. Black. C. Cream. D. Yellow. Question 6 answer, D. Yellow. Question 7. The safest way to lift a load is to A. Keep your back rounded at all times. B. Keep your back straight at all times. C. Keep your feet as close as possible. D. Keep your feet slightly apart with your back rounded. Question 7 answer, B. Keep your back straight at all times. Question 8. Electrical fires are best tackled with A. Water fire extinguisher. B. CO2 fire extinguisher. C. Wet chemical fire extinguisher. D. Foam fire extinguisher. Question 8 answer, B. CO2 fire extinguisher. Question 9. Who should report unsafe working practices at work? A. Your supervisor only. B. Your health and safety rep only. C. Anyone who notices it. D. Your line manager only. Question 9 answer, C. Anyone who notices it. Question 1. All of the following statements are true about using podium steps except A. You must ensure the wheels are locked before getting on. B. Podiums are 100% safe and cannot topple over. C. Like all other equipment, podiums must be inspected regularly. D. Podiums can topple over, so you must take care when reaching sideways. Question 1 answer, B. Podiums are 100% safe and cannot topple over. Question 2. What is the leading cause of death among construction workers? A. Being hit by vehicles on site. B. Leptospirosis. C. Falling from height. D. Electrocution. Question 2 answer, C. Falling from height. Question 3. Which of these statements is true about using ladders? A. Only one person should work on a ladder. B. Two people can work on the same ladder if it is long enough. C. Two people can work on the same ladder if the supervisor approves. D. Two people can work on the same ladder only if someone else holds the ladder. Question 3 answer, A. Only one person should work on a ladder. Question 4. What should you do if the ladder you're about to use is damaged? A. Carry on using the ladder but stay away from the damaged section. B. Try to fix the ladder yourself. C. Put the ladder in a corner and leave it there. D. Stop using it, report it, and let your colleagues know the ladder is not safe. Question 4 answer, D. Stop using it, report it, and let your colleagues know the ladder is not safe. Question 5. What should you do if you need to use a mobile tower scaffold but the wheel brakes aren't working? A. Ask a colleague to hold the tower while you work. B. Carry on using it only if the floor is level. C. Use a rock or a piece of wood to wedge the wheels and stop them from moving. D. Do not use it. Question 5 answer, D. Do not use it. Question 6. Ladders should never be painted because A. The paint causes the ladder to become slippery. B. The paint can hide or mask damaged parts of the ladder. C. You will need to repaint the ladder regularly. D. The paint could cause a distraction to the person using the ladder. Question 6 answer, B. The paint can hide or mask damaged parts of the ladder. Question 7. Which of these statements is true about storing materials on a working platform? A. Unsecured materials can be stored as long as they are above the guardrail height. B. The materials only need securing if it's going to be there overnight. C. The materials don't need to be secured if they're going to be there less than 6 hours. D. You must ensure the platform can take the weight of the materials and the materials must be stored securely so they can't fall. Question 7. Answer. D. You must ensure the platform can take the weight of the materials and the materials must be stored securely so they can't fall. Question 8. The best way to ensure a ladder is secured and won't slip is to A. Tie it at the bottom. B. Tie it at the top. C. Have a colleague hold it while you work. D. Use a piece of wood to wedge the bottom. Question 8. Answer. B. Tie it at the top. Question 9. Which of these best describes working at height? A. 5 meters above the ground. B. 6 meters above the ground. C. 10 meters above the ground. D. Any height above or below ground level that can cause an injury if you fall. Question 9. Answer. D. Any height above or below ground level that can cause an injury if you fall. Question 10. How many points of contact should you have with a ladder at all times? A. 4. B. 1. C. 3. D. 2. Question 10. Answer. C. 3. Question 11. Which of these would you not put a mobile tower scaffold on? A. An abandoned parking lot. B. A concrete walkway. C. An uneven playground. D. An asphalt road. Question 11. Answer. C. An uneven playground. Question 12. Checking a ladder before use should be done by A. Your supervisor. B. Your health and safety rep. C. The person about to use it. D. The site manager. Question 12. Answer. C. The person about to use it.